but they started then reviewing my calls, right? They're like,
Mm-hmm.
my best month ever, I did 485,000 in sales by myself in a month. The closest guy to me was like maybe 250, maybe. So I
Oh,
doubled the
jeez.
next best guy, and I had the least experience, and I've been on the team for the least amount of time. So then they were coming to me like, dude, I need to review your calls. And then I started teaching the team, and then eventually became the head of sales for a little bit.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Closers Network podcast, guys. The only podcast you want to be listening to if you're looking to make more money as a remote high-ticket closer. So I got a guest today who happens to be our third guest, actually, who is not really a part of our sales agency, but I love what he's got going on, and that's exactly why I wanted to bring him on here so he can share some insights and some wisdom with you based on his experience. So this guy, guys, is an absolute beast in the world of sales, a dog, as he calls himself, who will outwork anyone in the game. Man, this guy's got over 7,000 calls under his belt and a jaw-dropping $100 million in coaching sales in less than 5 years between himself and his clients. This guy knows a thing or two about winning, guys. So I actually came across his profile a few months ago, and I saw his content. I was like, man, this is it right here. So we're very similar in selling styles. But I do want to mention this, right? He's not just about numbers. For him, really, sales is about ultimate freedom, offering a life that most people can only dream of. So he believes the quality of the questions you ask and it dictates how intelligent that you appear. So I'm pumped to really get into that. We're going to hear moments about how his story has shaped him and those defining moments. So the mistakes that he's had to learn from to level up and the mindset shifts that he's had to just continue crushing it. So whether you're here to just get some high ticket sales strategies or insights to build some mental toughness or just really want to be inspired, guys, this episode is for you. So help me welcome to the show, Austin Medlin. Welcome, man.
I appreciate you having me on, Mike. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I'm excited to get into your story, dude. But before we do, help me understand, like, how the heck did Austin get even, like, how did you get started in sales?
Well, if we just look at sales, not high ticket sales, I've been in the sales world pretty much my entire life. Like I was literally 3, 4 years old and I was going in the pantry at home, taking out little boxes of raisins and going door to door, trying to like sell them to my neighbors.
Okay.
When I got a little older, I went to my friend's house and I picked fresh oranges off the orange tree and literally hand squeezed them and then sold the gallons of orange juice for like $16 because they were hand squeezed. There was dirt and stuff all in them, and the neighbors would just buy it to like support, the young entrepreneur. Got a little older, and then I started a weed business. So I would go to all my neighbors and ask to pull the weeds out of their grass, and kind of got into
That
the
kind of
landscape
weed.
world. Did a bunch. Dude, I would sell candy at school. Like I've always been in the world of sales. And then when I was 18, I got introduced to the business model of network marketing. And
Hmm.
I've always had an open mind. I'm always willing to try things. And so I jumped into network marketing, went nuts, built a team of 1,500 people in 10 different countries in about a year and a half.
Wow.
I
Wow.
was 18 years old in college, making $1,000 a week residually, right? Almost just mailbox money because I had so many people underneath me in my downline. Spoke on
Crazy.
stages, got introduced to Tony Robbins, got heavy in the world of personal development, and then kind of slowed down the sales career after that. Started working at a bar just to have some fun in college. Took over my dad's landscape company and built that from 300,000 to 3 million a year in less than 3 years. And then the next chapter was the world of online high ticket coaching sales. And that's when things got really good and a hell of a lot more fun than everything else I had done in the past.
That's freaking awesome, man. What was like the first offer you sold maybe in like the remote space? If you can talk around what that was, like price points, help us understand that.
Yeah. And so what happened for me when I left my dad's landscape company, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And my ex at the time, it was my girlfriend at the time, ex now, and she was a coach. And so she was making like $25,000-$30,000 a month selling
Mm-hmm.
fitness coaching. And I
Hmm.
always had so much frustration towards that because I had 32 employees, 10 different trucks, 600 accounts, and I always felt like I was building a real business. And she was at home in her pajamas, sitting in bed, making 30 grand a month. Like I always had some irritation around that. And so when I left the landscape company, her and I partnered up and we actually started a coaching company first because I was like, look, I can't deny it. What you're doing is working. You're making a ton of money. I'm dead broke, making like $600-$700 a week with the landscape stuff because there's just no profit there. And so we partnered up and launched a coaching company first. We did $111,000 in 60 days. The only way
Wow.
that was possible was she had a big Instagram following. So it was all organic. She made a couple posts, booked a couple calls, closed everyone because she had
Mm-hmm.
so much goodwill built up with these people for so many years.
Sure.
But we both sat down and she was like, look, you need to do your own thing. And I was like, look, I need to do my own thing. Like, I don't want to work with you. I want to make my own money. And she was like, well, why don't you be a high ticket closer? And I was like, what is like boats, houses? Like, what are we selling? Like, what is high ticket? I don't know what that means. And she's like, no, there's these other coaching programs. Remember, this is 5 years ago. She's like, there's these other coaching programs like what we're doing, but they're much bigger. And the
Mm-hmm.
CEO doesn't take the calls. They have these sales teams. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like how would that work? She's like, look, just talk to our mentor because we had paid 30 grand and invested into a coaching program, which we can talk about investing in yourself, but spent over 150 grand in the past 5 years on investing in myself. And it's
Wow.
every time I've learned incredible things that I never would have learned otherwise. But I went and talked to our mentor at the time, and he was like, hey, I have this guy. His also name was Mike. And he owns like a sales staffing agency, and go talk to him. So he connected me, talked to Mike, gave him my background, and he plugged me in on my very first offer. Well, he got me the interview. I got myself the job. Made $0. It wasn't the best offer. It just wasn't great. I talked to like 10 prospects. None of them bought, didn't really have the right training and the right strategies. And I went back to the agency and was like, look, I'm a business guy. I don't want to quit and make you guys look bad because I know you put me here. But at the same time, I'm 50K in debt and have bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Like that 111 that we had made together, she kept all that because it was her Instagram following, and I was kind of working for free. And I was like, I'm 50K in debt. I need a better offer. And they said, well, our best and our biggest client is hiring. We can get you the interview, but we can't get you the job. And I was like,
Mm.
dude, give me the interview. I'll get myself the job. I'll figure it out. And so I joined that company, and it was June 1st of 2020 was my first time, my first team meeting. And I get on this team meeting, and the CEO comes on. There's like 20 people on the sales team. And he's like, good job, guys. We just did 300K last month. It was a record breaking month. And I remember in that moment, I'm like, $300,000 in a month. Like, I just it didn't compute. It didn't process for me. I was like,
Sure.
selling coaching. So it's a $9,800 offer up to 30K with two price points, 9,800 and 30K. And we were basically teaching marketing to other business owners.
Mm.
And so I came into that with very little selling high ticket coaching experience. And month number one, I did 40K in sales. Almost got
Nice.
fired, sat down, not nice because everyone else was doing 150 or plus, right?
Got it.
And so I did 40, and the CEO and the head of sales sat down with me and they're like, look, this isn't going to work. Like, I think my close rate was 12%. And I was like,
Okay.
guys, I already told you I have no experience, but I learned quickly. Give me another 30 days. I'll figure it out. The next month I did a little over 100K. So I like 2.5X. And I think my close rate was right around 30%. The
Nice.
third month I did $212,000 and my close rate was like 48%.
Jeez. We got to
So by
give that
month
one to you right there.
Yeah. So by month
Bam.
3, I did the most in sales, and then I ended up leading that team in terms of numbers for the next two and a
Mm.
half years. And we built that company to $1.7 million a month. We're on the Inc. 5000 2 years in a row in the top 100. I became their head of sales for a little bit towards the end there and took thousands of calls and closed millions of dollars in sales on that offer. And that was I guess not really the first offer, is the second offer I was on. The first one was a month and it didn't work out, but the first real offer that I was on.
Damn, dude, that's freaking crazy. Help me understand this. This is the one thing I want to dive into that's interesting to me. So, I mean, 40,000 in my mind as a closer without experience is not bad, like for month one. But it sounds like, hey, you were surrounding yourself with a bunch of savages over there, right? So, like, how did you get dialed in so quick? Like, what did you do? If you can give us some tangible steps, like, what did you do to get really dialed in and get on track to get to a 30% closing ratio by that third month?
Yeah. So it's two things. And if you're watching this, you're going to want to write these down because
Mm,
these changed the game for me very quickly. And I still do both of these things to this day.
mm.
Number one is I relentlessly reviewed my own sales calls. Whether they were qualified or not, I reviewed it. Whether they closed or not, I reviewed it. Whether they had objections or not, I reviewed it. I reviewed every single sales call that I took without fail. 12-minute call, I reviewed it. Hour-long call, I reviewed it. And what I was doing was watching the game footage back. And it's kind of funny because I think business is a sport. But if you look at actual sports, football, basketball, baseball, whatever, especially combat sports, these athletes, the top athletes in the world, are relentlessly reviewing their game footage. They're reviewing the game
100%.
footage of the other teams, they're reviewing the game footage of themselves, and then they're sitting and breaking it all down play by play, minute by minute on what they did good and what they did bad.
Mm.
And so I started reviewing my own calls, and it was crazy because I was like, man, this was a really good call. And then I would review it and I'm like, man, this was a dog shit call. Right. And in the moment, you think you did really good, but I didn't do good. And I didn't know that until I watched it after the fact. So that was number
Mhm.
one. And then number two, the massive advantage you have by being a closer on a team is there's other people taking calls every hour of every day. So
Mhm.
I started reviewing the calls of others, but only the ones that closed. So every time another closer posted a sale in the sales channel with a new client, I would message them on Slack immediately. Hey, send me that call. Oh, it was a referral. It was a lay down clip. Send me the call. It was a follow up. Good. Send me the first call and the follow up call.
Yep.
So I then relentlessly watched other people's calls. And what that did was it got me to understand more about our offer, because these guys have been selling it, some of them for over a year. So they knew that every nitty gritty detail at the highest level of our offer. So it collapsed time for me to learn what I was actually selling, which then gave me the confidence to know what I'm actually selling and portray that on a call. But then it also showed me things that I didn't like. There were certain
Mhm.
things, whether the deal closed doesn't mean I liked the way that it got closed, doesn't mean that I could see the prospect uneasy and not feeling good. Like they were getting closed, they weren't making the decision to buy. And then that's
Mm.
when you have buyer's remorse, refund requests, things like that. And so I took all the stuff that I liked, and then I took all the stuff that I didn't like and then innovated on top of it to make it my own and make it actually land well and feel good for me. I did that for a few months straight. Everything went through the roof. And then obviously I tapered back on it because when I was the best on the team, I'm not saying there wasn't more to learn, but they started then reviewing my calls, right?
Mhm.
They're like, you
Mhm.
just, my best month ever, I did 485,000 in sales by myself in a month.
Hot damn, we got to drop one for that, baby.
the,
Bam.
the, the closest guy to me was like maybe 250, maybe. So I
Oh,
doubled the
jeez.
next best guy, and I had the least experience, and I've been on the team for the least amount of time. So then they were coming to me like, dude, I need to review your calls. And then I started teaching the team and then eventually became the head of sales for a little bit.
Damn, there's so much to unpack there, dude. I'm fired up. There's so much in what you said that's it's so relatable to me as I'm kind of scaling and growing teams right now. To your point, dude, the number one thing I tell people to do is watch your own dang calls. Like to your point, like you think you do so good. You're like, I crushed that call. Until you watch back your own call, you're like, dude, what the heck was I doing? And in my opinion, dude, like when people, especially if they're coming from 9 to 5s and they're not used to a 10-9 only position, the hardest thing that I see of like closers being able to dial in is like thinking on their feet and processing issues. And I say, dude, the number one way you can do that is watch your own dang calls. Cause like you can depend on me for feedback. I can happily give you the feedback, right? I'll do all that stuff. But unless you're like really doing it yourself and you're really watching your own calls and learning from that, like that's the game changer. And I'm glad to hear that that's like the number one thing you recommended. And number two, of course, you want to watch what the top guys are doing, right? And replicate and imitate that, right? If Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan having all that success, all right, what are they doing? Can I just follow that blueprint that they have? And dude, that's crazy because we had one of our youngest closers on our sales agency. Her name's Ava. And there was an offer where like the most anyone had done was like 200,000, right? And this young lady came in, youngest closer in our sales agency, man. And she did over 400,000 in sales, and she broke all these beliefs and she broke all these records. And that's exactly what I hear you saying you did. So that's freaking awesome, man. That's really cool. Now, you've taken over 7,000 sales calls and you've done over 100 million in coaching sales between you and your clients, right? One thing you shared with me is like, hey, you mentioned the quality of your questions that you ask defines like how intelligent you appear. So
Yep.
can you help our listener understand how do you approach crafting high quality questions during a sales call? and like why you really believe like that's a game changer for closers.
I genuinely don't know if I created this quote. I heard it somewhere. I've Googled it. I've researched it. I haven't been able to find someone to take credit for it. So I guess I'll take credit for it. I don't know. Maybe I learned it somewhere. But it was a statement that changed the trajectory of my sales career. And that statement is people gauge your level of intelligence based on the quality of the questions that you ask,
Mm,
not the statements that you make. And so what
mm,
that means is, especially as a salesperson, right? There's an inherent distrust with a salesperson. People think salespeople are slimy and they're this and they're that. So they don't inherently don't trust the statements that you make already. Like you're up against, you're in a hole almost. Like getting on the call, they inherently don't trust you because of your title and position, and so you can say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean people believe it. But it
mm-hmm.
takes some finesse and it takes some skill to ask deep, intelligent questions. And if you think about it like a doctor walking into the room and you have a broken arm, right? And the doctor walks in and he says, "Hey, man, how's the day going for you?" "Yeah, not good. Arms broken." And then he pokes it and he's like, "Yeah, man, definitely need surgery. Here's what it's going to look like. We need to fuse your bone and put a rod in and do this and do that." In your mind, you're like, "Well, how the fuck do you know that?" Like you didn't spend any time assessing the situation. And so
Mm-hmm.
no matter how many white coats that doctor wears, no matter how many offices he owns, no matter how many surgeries he's done, you're going to say, "Hey, I appreciate that. I'm going to go get another opinion."
That's right.
But when the doctor comes in and twists it and turns it, and how did it happen? And when did it happen? And scale 1 to 10, where's it at? And sits and spends 10, 15, 20 minutes diagnosing the situation, your trust level that entire time is going up. Like this guy really knows what he's doing. This guy has done this before. He's a professional. He actually genuinely cares about me and my broken arm. You're not going and getting another opinion. You're like, "Great, let's schedule the surgery," because you trust the diagnosis that he gave because he spent enough time doing an actual assessment of the situation. And what happens is you ask 3 questions and you're like, "Oh, Mike, I'm 100% confident we can help you." They don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also don't have enough information to customize a pitch at a high enough level that they actually want to buy. So what happens in sales, you need 2 things. Okay? You need to align their head and their heart, or they will not buy. And so
Mm.
by asking deep, intelligent questions during discovery, like 10, 15, 20 minutes of questions, QA, back
Yes,
forth. It's like ping pong. Ball goes back and forth over and over. We don't say any statements. We just ask deep, intelligent questions.
that's right.
Now, what happens is their heart feels really good about you. Logically, they don't know what you're selling. They don't know the price. They don't know anything about you. But emotionally, they feel connected to you. They're like, "Wow, this person
Mm-hmm.
really cares. This company really knows their shit." And so now their heart is bought in. Then when you get to your pitch and you just lay out the logical steps to take them from point A to point B and where they want to go and that they need your help to get there, now logically the program makes sense and now the head and the heart are aligned and they always buy. What most closers do, which is the biggest issue I see in sales, they don't spend enough time asking deep, intelligent questions. Then they lay out a nice, clean, beautiful pitch. And logically, the prospect's like, "I should do this. This makes sense." But something in their heart tells them to think about it. Something in
That's
their
right.
heart tells them it's expensive. Something in their heart says, "Go shop it around and see what other people have on the marketplace."
Mm-hmm.
Even though logically their brain is saying, "Do this, do this, do this." But your heart and your emotions and your nervous system are always going to override your brain. It's way more powerful. And so they're like, "Dude, dude, this sounds really good. Like, could you just send this to me in writing? Like, dude, just give me a day. Just give me a day. Like, I need a day." Like, how many people watching this have lost a sale? It's like, I just need 24 hours. I'm in. I want to do it. And then they get off
The
the
good
call and
old I need a day.
right? And then you never hear from them again. And it's because their head and their heart were not aligned. So they just
Mm-hmm.
can't pull the trigger and buy. And even if you hardcore close them and get them to buy, they're going to ask for a refund. They're not going to do the work. And it just becomes a clusterfuck long term anyway.
That's right. Dude, I couldn't agree more, man. That's what we preach and teach here, right? And we simplify the call in 3 parts. It's intro, it's discovery, it's close. Our goal in the intro of the call is just to get that person to like you, like, huh, I like this guy. Like Austin's cool, I like him. Our goal in the discovery is to really start building trust and get that connection. The only way you do that is you ask really good questions, everything you're kind of breaking down and sharing right now. And then what that does, it kind of leads naturally into the close, where the idea is like, hey, to get them to believe you. But man, guys, they're not going to believe you if they don't trust you, and they're not going to trust you if they don't like you, right? So all of that kind of has to be correlated there. No, but that's powerful stuff, man. That's that's super powerful stuff. Now, one thing I'm really excited to talk about, specifically because there's a few people in our agency that, if I'm like, maybe they're not the best sales rep in the world, but they're really good. But maybe there's other people that are potentially even better than them. But the one thing that they do have is the work ethic. So you mentioned that you're a dog, right? When it comes to work ethic. So how does Austin keep the hunger alive? Like, even though, like, hey, you've already achieved so much, right? You were a closer, you have your own thing going on now, you're crushing it, you're helping your clients crush it, right? What keeps you hungry and what keeps you inspired?
Well, you have to understand that your goals and your motivations are always changing. Like, it's like a goalpost that just keeps moving. And what I
Mm,
explain to people, because I've been through it myself, is when I was a closer and I was 50K in debt, I was like, dude, if I could just make 20 grand a month, like, I'm rich. Like, I don't
mm,
need any more. I'm rich. Like, no one can tell me anything. I thought I could fly private. I could do whatever I wanted at 20K a month, right? And then you get to the 20K a month and I get out of debt and I'm like fired up about it. And then so my internal thermostat is at 20K. And so I hit the
mm,
20K and then I level out there around the 20K. But if you're a true winner, you're like a dog, you're a killer, you're always going to want more because you just get bored. And even if you don't
mm,
need more, like last month, I put $140,000 in cash in my pocket. Do I really need more than 140K? Probably not. But at the same time, if I just keep doing 140, 140, 140, I just get bored. And
mm,
I gauge the amount of money you make based on the size of the problems that you solve in the marketplace, meaning the
mm,
more we make,
mm,
the more people we're helping. And if you're
mhm,
selling a
mhm.
great offer, which if you're a closer, you should only be selling for a legit great offer that actually radically changes the lives of the people that buy it, the more
That's
money
right.
you, the more impact you have. And so it's actually doing the marketplace a disservice by putting a cap on your income and a cap on your goals and just starting to get complacent. And so if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for the people that need your offer. Do it for the people that are down bad and struggling and genuinely need this program. So
Mm,
you have that confidence to step up and go to war for them from a selfless place of, I don't really need the commission. I'm good. Mike, I could not work for the next 2 years. I'm okay. I live in my dream house. I drive my dream McLaren. Like, I'm okay.
yeah.
It's no longer about me. It's about the people who genuinely need me, my program, my help. If you're a closer, they need the help of the program that you're selling. And so
Mhm,
you get to the point where it's selfish in the beginning. I got to get out of debt. I got to pay my bills. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. But then when you get to a place that you're happy with, then it turns to selfless, where now it's not about you. It's about the people that you get to serve by selling them your offer. The first thing I teach in my program is 3 words: sales is service.
mm, mm,
I'm going to serve you by selling you into my program, into my offer, and I'm going to radically change your life. So when you're giving me objections, I'm here to serve you. When you say you can't do it, you don't have the time, you don't have the money, I'm here to help you get resourceful so I can serve you. It's not so I can close you and sell you and take your money. It's so I can genuinely change your life. So in the beginning, the goals are selfish. I'm okay with that. And then they raise to a selfless place where let's impact the marketplace and let's leave a legacy far beyond just the money that we make personally.
damn, man, that's freaking powerful, man. There's so much you said in there. And one talk that comes to mind is, I saw one of your videos, dude, and that's the one I sent to Jasdeep on team. But it was about like high frequent, was it high frequency or high version of Stacy versus like low frequency version of Stacy, right? And just kind of how you handled that objection. And I like to think of myself too, like I put myself on the call. If I'm in the close, like I'm like, dude, Coach Mike's on the call, right? And I have these raw, genuine conversations and challenge people and help them get out of their own way, but only because the way the discovery is set up for us is they've kind of sold me along the way on why they need this, and we've determined there's an actual problem to solve here. It's not like we're just selling something people they don't need. That's what discovery is for, is to determine, do we have a problem to solve here? And if we do, then we're going to be convicted, we're going to be confident, we're going to make sure we help solve the problem. But the one thing that you said also, dude, is when it comes to leadership, I was thinking back, and this is something like I had to learn this year. And it's one of these things like you hear about all the time, and for whatever reason never clicked in my mind. But I was down at this Patrick Bet David event in Florida, and he defined leadership as knowing exactly what your team members want and helping them achieve that. And by that definition, I'm like, dude, I failed. Like, I have a long way to go. And so it's not just about me anymore, right? It's got to be about my team. It's got to be about what do they want? What are their goals? And making sure like I help them achieve that. And it was just like one of those moments where it's like, damn, dude, I never, like, I've been hearing about this, right? You always hear about, oh man, if you're chasing the money, I've always chased the money. I've always chased the money. And don't get me wrong, like I made money and I've done well, but I feel like if I want to get to that next level now, it finally like something resonated in me. Like, dude, every time I heard people something say like, it's service, it's prioritizing other people, it's helping people. For whatever reason, it took me about 10 years for that to really click in my mind. I guess the way Patrick explained it just stuck to me. But ever since I came back, I'm like, damn, dude, like, I don't know I got 50 people on the team and I don't know what any of them want. Like how much money they're trying to make, what's their ideal life, why are they doing this? So it was kind of going back to the drawing board and having to figure this all out. But it was a big aha moment of clarity. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was important for people out there to hear.
Yeah. But that's why I said in the beginning, it's selfish, and that's okay. But it's maturing and growing and realizing it's not just the Mike show or the Austin show.
That's right.
Because and I had a client retreat out in Scottsdale this past weekend, and I gave a talk to like kick off the retreat. There's 20 clients there, and I basically told them, I'm like, guys, look, if you have to be selfish in the beginning, that's okay. But nothing feels better than the impact that you make. Because I believe that in this life, everybody dies twice. Once when your physical body leaves this world, and once when people stop saying your name. And so if you have no impact on the marketplace, people stop saying your name pretty quick. You just lived a selfish life all about you. So that's, again, okay in the beginning, but we have to mature, we have to evolve, and we have to realize that nothing is going to give us genuine fulfillment as much as helping people. I had a guy one time on a call for the $9,800 offer, and this guy was down bad. And during discovery, I figured out, he's like, dude, I'm on a slow path to bankruptcy. Word for word what he said. I am on a slow path to bankruptcy. And I said, well, how long have you been trying to get the business going for? He's like, dude, 5 years. What's the most amount of money the business has ever made in a year? 20K. Well, how much money do you want the business to make? 20K a month, right? So he's like 12x behind where he needs to be just to be getting by at 20K a month. And I told him, because he had objections, like, dude, $9,800, like I can't do that. I already told you, like I'm broke, like I'm on a path to bankruptcy. And I looked at him and I said, Alex, no matter what, if you make this investment, you win. And I said, if you hire us and we can't crack the code on marketing, we are quite literally the best in the world at doing this, which means ain't nobody going to crack the code on marketing. And you know that you gave this business your best effort for half of a decade. It doesn't work. And then guess what? You have to go file bankruptcy, which you're already on the path to doing anyway. So now we can collapse time and get you to bankruptcy faster so you can shut the business down and get your life back. You've told me it's been consuming your life. So why don't we just fast track you to bankruptcy and get you your life back? But what if it does work? Because on the flip side of that, what if we do help you build a big business? What if we can crack the code on marketing? And what if this 9,800 turns into hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars and you finally build the business of your dreams? Either way, you get your life back or you get the business of your dreams. You can't lose. And I explained that to him during objection handling. And he looks at me, he's like, dude, you're right. He made the investment. We helped him build a $100,000 a month business. Far beyond his wildest imagination. But if I just would have rolled over and died and be like, oh, dude, you're right, man. Like, you're down bad right now. You should probably just save the money. That guy would have been fucked. That guy would have went month, boom, bankruptcy. Never would have built the business of his dreams. And then that guy came back to me a year later, sent me a message on Facebook thanking me over and over and over and over again. Dude, you changed my life. Thank you for getting me out of my own way. Thank you for this. Your team's been incredible. But I would not have been in the program if you didn't close me. Like, that's what I live for. Nothing's going to give me happiness and fulfillment like that. I will take a
Mm-hmm.
message like that every day of the week over buying a $250,000 McLaren. And I mean that genuinely. Is the McLaren cool? Yeah. Is it flashy? Is it fun? Is it fast? Yeah, that's all cool. But it doesn't give me genuine fulfillment and purpose and happiness. Messages like that do, and they're only possible if we're willing to step up, step out, and go to war for these prospects and get them out of their own way.
Damn, bro, I gotta drop a gong on that one for you right there. That's a hot drop, dude. Damn, that's so powerful. What I hear you saying, we have a closer who brought this thing into the agency. He's like, you got to make it make sense. And what I heard you do in that last part of the conversation in the close is, dude, you made it make sense, and it was just like aha moment for him. I'm gonna tell a really quick story because this is crazy to think about. This gives me goosebumps, dude. Because if this hadn't happened, I don't know if I would have the perspective that I have now in sales. So we were selling for a client of ours in the real estate space, and he basically holds an annual conference, right? And so all the people that sign up into the program can go to the annual conference. And so the sales team, us, like we were there, we had our own booth, we're doing our own thing. And dude, the quick story behind that is we had a lady named Marisa on our team. She's still around. She's with us. She happens to be Richard's sister. And so Marisa was on a call talking to this kid named Jimmy. And he was literally like living in his car homeless. But like Jimmy was basically around like gang activity. He was doing a lot of drugs. He was always ending up in jail. And he just was so sick and tired of that pattern. He was at the point where it's like, I need to change. If I don't change, like I'm going to either die, end up in jail, or like overdose. Something's going to happen. So he's living in his car while this is happening. And so Marisa is such a savage at what she does. Like she signs Jimmy up, but doesn't tell him the price of the program. And so he calls back 2 days later and he's like, Marisa, you didn't tell me the program cost $3,000. And well, she's like, well, yeah, Jimmy, like, what are you going to do if you don't do this? Like, you literally told me X, Y, and Z. You said you're going to go back in jail. You're going to overdose. You're going to go back in gang, committing crimes, doing X, Y, and Z. And you literally told me, like, you don't want to go back to that life. You don't have another choice, right? So he stays in the program. He talks her out of the refund. Fast forward, this is like 10 months down the road. We're at the Seattle event, right? And we're there as a sales team, and I don't know who this guy is or anything, but we're sitting at the restaurant in the whatever hotel it was at. And this is the last day of the event, right? And in the bar area, there's a bunch of these people who invested in the real estate program. So it's all the people there. They're hanging out. We have our own booth, and we're eating, and everybody else is kind of shooting the shit everywhere. And this dude walks up to us, man. This dude walks up to us, and he's like, "Hey, man, are you guys the sales team?" We're like, "Yeah, we're the sales team," you know? He's like, "Hey, do you guys know who Marisa is?" We're like, Richard is like, "Marisa?" Marisa's like, "Dude, Marisa's my sister. Like, what's up?" He's like, he grabs Richard by the freaking shoulders here, looks him deep in the eyes, and he's like, "Dude, Marisa saved my life." And we're like tripping out. We're like, what the heck what is this guy talking about? What is he on right now? Like, what do you mean save my life? We're like, tell us more, right? So, dude, he gets into this whole story about how he was living in his car, and he called Marisa because he didn't know how much the program costs. And Marisa talked him out of the refund. He's like, you got to stick in the program. You got to do it. Dude, 10 months after, fast forward, it was a wholesaling course, right? He made 100,000 plus in wholesale commission fees and bought himself a freaking house just 10 months after the fact. And he's like, dude, if it wasn't for your sister Marisa, I would have either been dead, in jail, or overdose, or doing or something. But and in that moment, dude, I didn't realize like it was just a different trajectory. Like my whole perspective changed. I was like, wow, dude. Like, can you imagine all the people that we're not talking to, or we'll never hear these stories about, right? And the impact that they're having in their lives. And if Marisa didn't really believe in what she did and believe that this program can help her and stay in there and help him get out of his own way, dude, we would have never experienced that. And Jimmy would have never went on to make 6 figures in 10 months and buy himself a freaking house. Like, just crazy to think about.
Think about the ripple effect now of the lives that Jimmy will go change, the way that he
Mm-hmm.
carries himself, the people he pulls out of the gang activity. Think
That's
about
right.
the hundreds of lives that he will directly impact. And then think about the thousands of lives that those hundreds of people will go impact. And think about the ripple effect that has on the world
Mm-hmm.
because of that one conversation on a random Tuesday with Jimmy in his car. And I think about stuff like that. I think about the ripple effect that closing these people, obviously ethically, into good programs that they actually need. Think
That's
about
right.
the ripple effect that we as closers get to have on the world. And I think about it all the time because all of my clients are online coaches. They have programs
That's
$2 to
right.
$100,000. And I
Mm-hmm.
joke with them all the time. Like I have a guy that helps you produce your own music, right? And I'm like, dude, I'm helping people produce music. I have
Yes.
3 different guys that are online virtual PTs, right? And I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
I'm helping people's low back pain. I'm helping them play sports again. I have a guy that teaches you how to play guitar. Like, dude, I get to help men in their 50s learn how to play guitar for the first time in their life.
It's
I don't know
awesome.
anything about the guitar, but
That's
it's the
right.
ripple effect by helping my clients close more sales that I now get to have on the world in a million different industries. And it's incredible, man. It's so cool to see.
That's freaking awesome, dude. So, man, so one thing I want to get into. So, 140,000 cash in your pocket last month, dude. That's freaking awesome. I got to drop the cash register, the let's go, the money counter, and the gong for that one. Hopefully, this all comes through on the other end. Are you hearing any of this or no?
No, none
Damn,
of
bro.
it.
Hopefully the audio catches it. But guys, if you haven't seen, I've been dropping some sounds along the way. Hopefully the audio catches it. It's really the first virtual podcast I've incorporated the soundboard, so some technical stuff here. We're gonna definitely work this out. But dude, 140,000 cash in your pocket, right? Help us understand. Like, it's not about the money. Like the helping people, you got. Although, hey, you got some awesome stuff, McLaren, brand new house, everything. I see all of it on Instagram, right? But sales is giving you like a high level of freedom at the highest level. So help us understand, what does freedom look like for you personally, and like, do you maintain like any type of like balance in your life, or like help us understand that?
Yeah, I maintain the most balance probably out of
Mm.
anybody you know. So growing up, people would say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" It's a cliche ass question you ask to a 6 year old, right? And they're like, "A doctor, a policeman." Like they don't know, right? They're 6. Well, when I was 6, I did know. They said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "Free." And then I get be 12 and I've been in elementary school, whatever it was. What do you want to be when you grow up? And everyone's going around the room. I want to be this. I want to be that. No, no, no. I want to be free. And the teacher's like, no, 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 like your job. I'm like, I just want freedom. I've always
And how old
wanted
are you when you're
freedom.
saying this?
6, 12, 18, my entire life.
That's
I've
freaking
just
crazy,
I've
dude.
wanted freedom. And I think it's the way that I was raised. Like my dad raised me. He's like, look, you work your ass off Monday to Thursday. You don't work Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So the whole
Mm.
4-day work week book that everyone was on, a decade ago, I was raised. I'm 30 years old now. Since the day I was born, I was raised. You only work 4 days a week. But when you go get a normal job, you can't walk in and be like, hey guys, I appreciate the job. I'm only working 4 days a week. They're like, great, you're fired. We'll find someone else, right?
That's right.
Sales gave me the 1099 gave me the ability to set my own schedule. And so when I was the number one closer at this company, I'm like Chick-fil-A. I'm only working 4 days a week. Everybody else is working Monday through Friday, some of them Monday through Saturday.
Mm.
Chick-fil-A closes on Sunday. They're the only fast food restaurant, one of the only ones that closes for an entire day, right? So
Mm-hmm.
at least 52 days a year less in sales, yet their numbers surpass almost every other fast food chain. How's that possible? It's
It's
because they're
crazy.
good enough Monday through Saturday that they don't need to open Sunday. They can take a day off. So for me, if I can just outwork and outperform everyone Monday through Thursday, I don't need to take calls Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I don't want to show up to
Mm.
the team meeting. I don't want to do extra coaching on the weekend. I'm good. I got it. Just let me be a dog in the streets, hunting and killing, and I will surpass everybody's numbers working 20% less than everybody else. And I've maintained that. I haven't worked a Friday in 5 years. And if I want to, I can edit some stuff, I can serve some people, but I'm not taking calls. I'm not letting people book on my calendar. Life
Mm-hmm.
is short. And I realized life was short in college. I was dating a girl for about a year and a half, first girl I ever loved. She got hit and killed by a car. And I showed up to
Oh
the
shoot.
accident scene. Yeah, I showed up to the accident scene before the paramedics did. There was one police officer there. And I showed up. She was in the middle of the road, and I found a watch that I had bought for her. And it was about 100 yards from her body. It flew off her wrist
Mm.
in the impact. And I have that watch sitting in my office in a little acrylic case with her birthday and death date on it to remind me that life is short. So if we're just hustling and pursuing money, 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 but we're not actually golfing or boating or spending time with our friends or our family or our loved ones, what's the point? And how do you want to be remembered? How many billionaires and multimillionaires are there that have no relationship with their kids? And all their kids want is to spend time with dad, to spend time with mom. And they don't have that because that individual is in the pursuit of more, more, more money, money, money. And don't get me wrong, I'm pursuing more, right? My goal in
Yeah.
January is to do 250,000 and then 500 and
Mm-hmm.
then 1 million a month. So I will keep growing. but how can I balance out where I can actually enjoy my life too? Because if I died tomorrow, I still want to have some cool memories. I still want to do some cool stuff, right? I still want to do what I want to do, which maybe on a Saturday is sleep in and then go play a round of golf and then get dinner with some friends and then call it a Saturday. And then I wake up Sunday, like, man, I haven't checked in on my clients in a full 24 hours, but they're big boys and they're big girls and I'm sure they'll be okay, right? Because people have this scarcity mindset. I operate in abundance all the time. So when they have scarcity mindset, especially as coaches, they're like, I have to serve my clients every minute of every day. I have to respond immediately. And then you actually create clients that are dependent on you and they become helpless without you. So they never succeed long term. Closers have the same mindset. Dude, I have to open up all of my availability. I have to work 7 days a week. I have to outwork everyone. I have to take as many calls as possible. You only have so much energy in the day. So if you're taking calls Monday to Sunday, no days off, you're going to burn out. Like you're not a superhuman. There's only so much energy you have. And eventually you're going to burn out. Then you're going to have to take time off. Then you're going to get frustrated. Then you're going to quit that offer and go to the next one. So you might as well just build a schedule of balance. And if you want to know my schedule, it's pretty interesting. I take a call on the hour every hour at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., and 1 p.m. So I go 5 hours straight through, 9 till 2. Then I take a 2-hour break. Typically, the break is designed to go to the gym. But if I need to take a nap, I need to go to the car dealership. I need to do whatever I need to do. I have 2 hours of me time, not checking in on clients, not responding to this. It's me time. Usually I just go to the gym. Then I take another 4 hours, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm done at 8 p.m. So I basically go 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. It's 11 hours straight, but there is a 2-hour buffer in there for me time. If I want to work, I can. If I want to edit some stuff or respond to messages or whatever, I can, but I have the choice, which is nice. And I do that Monday through Thursday. I don't work Friday, Saturday, Sunday in terms of new meetings, but I will, if like I quit drinking a couple months ago, which honestly changed my life, was not drinking socially with friends anymore. If I'm at an event or I'm with high level people, like, yeah, grab a couple drinks, but I don't drink socially with average people anymore. And that was a
What made you
big
decide
thing,
that?
because I realized I'm like, dude, I'm getting drunk with the wrong people every weekend because I went through a divorce, right? So I was like, I'm back, like, let's go out. And then let's go out turned into an 8-month bender of Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday drinking all the time. On the golf course, I'm drinking. Out on a Thursday night, I'm drinking. It was so much. And I built my company to $80,000 a month doing that. And I have a client and she teaches people how to quit drinking alcohol. And I was like, Emma, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't need to quit drinking. Da, da, da. She's like, you don't understand how good your life can get if you just gave up alcohol. So she really encouraged me. She wasn't pushing it on me, but she really encouraged me. And one day I woke up super hungover and I had so much work that I wanted to get done. I couldn't do any of it. Right. And then that hangover was a 2-day hangover. And then Monday morning, I wake up exhausted. I'm not showing up for my clients. And I just looked in the mirror. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I've been drinking since I was 16 years old. I'm 30 now. So 14 years I've been drinking. I'm like, what if I just gave this up? I gave it up. I had a record breaking month. I was able to buy my dream car. And so my mental health was better. My physical health was better. My energy was better. My hunger, my brain was working better. Everything was better. And I was like, well, this feels way better than drinking. Like, let's just stop doing that and start doing this. And then I've been doing that for the past 3 or 4 months now. Went from 80K to 140K 60 days later, almost doubled the business in 60 days. And I credit that to not drinking with average people anymore.
Damn, shout out your freaking coaching client, dude. That's awesome. That is so freaking cool. And thank you for sharing and being open about your schedule and like your time block, right? And that's one thing I learned from an early mentor that I started in the space with. I don't know if you've heard of a guy named Bedros Keuilian. He was the founder and CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp franchise.
Yep.
And dude, like he'd always prioritize like his family, like his life, and then everything around work was around all of that stuff. But like operating with a calendar is where I first learned how to operate with a calendar. If it ain't in the calendar, it don't exist. So I started really understanding a time block. And I love what you said. I heard Jesse Itzler talk about this, if you know him, but he talks about like every day he needs time for himself, like outside of the family, outside of this, outside of that. And I think it's important, man. So I think it's really cool. This is a really hot drop of what you shared, and crazy story about your girlfriend, dude, back in the day. I mean, I can't even imagine what that feels like, but just the perspective like you have now, and like we don't have as much time as we think we have. I had an hourglass on this desk. Somebody stole it. And so I'm like you, and since I haven't necessarily had that experience, but maybe it was some magical mushrooms I did about 15, 16 years ago that really gave me a different perspective to realize like we don't really have as much time as we think we have. So for whatever reason, that hourglass analogy always been top of mind for me. And it's like, dude, every day there's just grains of sand falling. There's like, we're running out of time. We don't have as much time as we think we do, right? It's
Yep.
like, dude, if the average person lives to 75, it's like, well, forget about that. Like, do you really want to be working like crazy when you're 60 plus or like in that realm? And to your point, like you're going to run out of energy.
Yep.
Like the gas tank, like there's only so much. If you got 100 miles now, dude, by the time you're 50, you might have 80 miles in there. Your
That's
battery's running low. So, and it's like, dude, this is prime right now, right? And it's like your first 20 years is like, you don't really have that kind of experience. You're just kind of learning what life is. So you really just have like a 20-year window of prime time to get after it, man. So I love what you're saying because like I'm huge on time, dude. I'm huge on like urgency and just operating in that type of a mindset. And I'm like, how do I help instill that in people? How do I, get them to realize that? And some of the stuff you shared, I think is really powerful insight for people to be able to have tangible things to do there.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
also a really empowering thing to know. Like if you're listening to this podcast, you're not like most people, but most people go through life. And time is the only asset that we have that we just willingly spend every day, every minute of every day. Like no matter what, you're spending your time, but
mhm.
no idea when it's going to run out. So it's almost like having like an unlimited credit card where there's actually a limit, but you don't know what that limit is. You're just spending, 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 spending. And then one day you go to spend and it says declined, and that's it. You're done. You're out of cash. And that's what we do with our life. We just spend and spend and spend. And then one day it's just over and we're like, well, what did we just spend our time doing? And when you understand that life is short, that's why I don't work Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The amount of time that I have to spend with family and make memories outside of just hustle and work. And like, look, here's a hot take for you. I won't consume a single ounce of content from Gary Vaynerchuk. And I used to read his
Mm.
books. I saw him speak on stage when I was 18 years old in Vegas. I thought he was the greatest human on planet Earth. But as I got older and I matured, his whole premise, at least back when I used to watch him, maybe it's changed now, but back
Patience.
when I used to watch him, lock yourself in a cave, work your ass off, don't have any fun, don't spend any money, grind, 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 grind. If that was the premise that my last girlfriend took, that would have been her entire life. And so
Mm.
his theory makes sense if we can guarantee that we'll still be alive at the end of our grind session, but you can't guarantee that. And so I don't believe that at all. I think we need to have fun now. And obviously there's balance, right? You can have too much fun and not
That's
enough
right.
work. You can have too much work, not enough fun, but you have to find your own personal balance. I'm blessed that I love to work, right? I'm not a lazy person. I love working. Like, dude, I've been on meetings since 9 a.m. Like it's 6 p.m. I still have another call after this with my marketing agency. Like I genuinely love to work hard. But if you just only work hard, you burn out. And it's like you're not doing wakeboarding or jet skiing or whatever. I'm in Florida, so it's always water sports is the analogy, but you're not doing the things that also light your soul on fire and give you energy, because working, you're constantly pouring into other people, right? You're filling other people's cups. But when you go just fuck off for a weekend, you're getting your cup filled back up. You're reigniting your creative energy. You're refilling your energy so then you can then show up to work more powerfully come Monday.
That's
You got to
right.
find that balance for you, knowing that you might not be here tomorrow. So you're really doing what you want to do. You're really selling an offer that you believe in. You're making the money you want to make. If not, we got to make some changes.
Damn, hot drop alert, baby. Hot drop alert, guys. This is nuggets on nuggets right here. This is wisdom, man. And this shit doesn't come overnight. Let me tell you. Dude, I got a road trip next week. I've never been more excited to take a road trip after this conversation. Let me tell you something.
Dude, it's
But
nice.
another thing, dude, hot take that Gary says that I also stopped listening to him is he's all about like, I don't know if he does now because I haven't listened to him in a while, but he's all about being patient, patience, patience, patience. And like, I didn't necessarily agree. I'm like, dude, like, I get what he's saying, but I also don't kind of understand what he's saying because it's like, dude, everything we're talking about now. So, like if you operate with too much patience, I mean, I don't know about that, but
You may never
anyway,
get there, right?
that's
You
right.
may never get to the end of being patient. And at my retreat, I was talking to everybody, and I'm like, look, whatever your 5-year goal is, you can get done in 6 months. Like whatever your 1 year goal is, you can get done next month. And there's an incredible book. I'd recommend everybody to read it. It's called U Squared, right? It's by this older gentleman now. His name is Price Pritchett, by U Squared. This book is 36 pages. Let me handle the objections, right? People are like, I don't have time to read. It's a 36-page book, okay? It will literally take you 45 minutes to read. And this book will radically change your life. If you read this book and you don't have massive takeaways for your life and your business, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll pay you for the book. I'm that confident. This book will change the game for you. And it talks about getting out of your own way to take quantum leaps in your life and your business. It's literally 36 pages. That book is really all you need to read because it makes you realize that we're so powerful and we're infinite humans that can have and be whatever we want. We just need to get out of our own way to let the universe work through us and manifest it. Very good book. Changed my life. I read it 18, 30, 12 years ago. And I realized that we're capable of a hell of a lot more than we think. Do things take time? Sometimes. Sure. Do they take time all the time? No. You can go from 100K last month as a sales rep to 400K the next month, knowing the company's revenue might have been at 350K with the whole sales team this month. You can go do 400K on your own next month. It's the 4-minute mile. Everybody said, can't run a mile in 4 minutes. It's impossible. And then one crazy ass motherfucker goes out and does it. And then what happened? Hundreds of other people do it right after him. Why? The only thing that shifted was not their physical fitness. It was the belief that it was actually possible. So when you start changing your mindset and changing the belief that these things are indeed possible, you start operating on a significantly bigger level, making more money, leaving a bigger impact on the world. And I promise you, more money and more impact, it's a hell of a lot more fun to live your life that way. I've been in debt. I've been broke. Not that exciting.
It's powerful stuff, dude. This is next level stuff, guys. This is really next level stuff. I got a couple more questions for you, dude, and we'll wrap it up here. So one thing I'm curious, we talked about that one video that was surfacing of high version of Stacy, low version of Stacy, right? If you could only use one closing line for the rest of your life, right? What would it be and why?
So the closing line that I always use that I've closed millions of dollars with is, great, I'm ready for the card number. And that's how I close every sales call. And I have my assistant right now working on shirts that say that to give to all my clients. But talking about that video, that is a really good closing line. And basically you say it during discovery and you ask it as a question. And it's like, let's use a fitness example. Let's keep it simple. It's like, well, hey, look, Stacy, you told me you're 50 pounds overweight, right? She's like, yeah. And you've been 50 pounds overweight for the past 5 years, right? She's like, yeah. Okay. Is today the day that you plant your flag in the sand and you finally step up for yourself, your fitness, and your family, and you make the decision to do the hard shit? I'm not sitting here saying everything's going to be easy. Eating healthy, not that fun. Eating a salad instead of a Big Mac, not that exciting. Going to the gym when you're dog tired and you put the kids to bed and you've been working all day, it's not easy. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy, but is today the day where you finally step up and do something about it? Or do you think it's just going to be another day where you get on a call, you get some information, you tell me you need to think about it, and then nothing changes? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And then I run into you a day from now, a week from now, a year from now, and you're in the exact same spot you're in right now, if not even worse. So you tell me, today the day or not? And what you're doing is tying down their commitment that today is the day. Because if today's the day, they'll get resourceful and figure out the money. They'll apply for financing. They'll put it on a credit card. They'll split it on a payment plan. They will do whatever it takes when they're 100% committed to change. If they're not that committed, they're not going to be resourceful and do what it takes to change. Got to get that commitment level tied down. And you do that early in the call during your discovery.
Hot damn, man. Hot damn. Freaking gold. Freaking gold, man. This is good stuff. This is really powerful stuff. So, dude, Austin, man, it's been great, dude. Is there anything that you and I haven't chatted about that you maybe want to leave with our listener today?
I think that a lot of sales reps just need more confidence that they are worthy of closing these deals. Remember, 5 years ago, I was a 25-year-old kid with no right to be talking to business owners making 20, 30, 50, 100,000 a month. Like, I got on a call one day with Mike Filzame, who created Kartra, Webinar Jam. Now he's the founder of Groove Funnels. I didn't even know who the guy was. And a guy on my sales team messages me. He goes, dude, did you see who you ever on your calendar today? I'm like, dude, I never know who's on my account. I don't know who these people are. He's like, dude, this guy's a legend in the space. Like, don't mess this up. Da, 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 da. And in my mind, like, I had no right to be speaking. This guy's done tens of millions of dollars in software sales. And I'm some 25-year-old kid who's been on the offer for a couple of months, who's like still digging his way out of debt. You know what I mean? But I
Hmm.
show up knowing that it's not about me. It's about the product and service that I'm selling. And I am worthy, because I'm on this team, to be on this call and to close this prospect. And I closed him. I think it's like a customized, like 30 something $1,000 program, 36K or something like that we did for him.
Nice.
And I closed him. Right. And it's like, you have to realize as a sales rep, you are worthy of being here. You're worthy of making a shit ton of money and changing the trajectory of you and your family's life. If you're on the team, it's for a reason. It's because Mike or whoever, whatever team you're on, has vetted you and has chosen you to be here. So start acting like it. Stop getting on calls like with this timid energy of like, well, who am I to do this? I'm only 19. No, you show up with that daddy energy, that confidence that if this program can help you, I'm going to ensure that you buy it so we can change your life and get you the help that you need.
Damn, bro. I gotta say this story because this just happened this morning, and it's so crazy that that's the one thing that you wanted to leave us with, dude. So yesterday we have a lakefront headquarters here in Canyon Lake, California, dude, and every Wednesday, like, people come out, we have fun, we have a good time. And there was this younger closer, he's 22, really good kid, right? And he's been like really trying to dial this fitness software, really try to dial it in, man. And he's like, man, I just really want to be a closer. And as soon as I heard that, I stopped him. I was like, well, dude, that's the freaking problem right there. Is you need to tell yourself you are a closer. You need to wear the identity like now. You need to have that confident conviction to know, like, dude, you are now. And if you believe in what you're selling, dude, like, you got to go all in. You got to have that conversation. And you got to know, like, dude, someone took the freaking time out of their day to talk to a stranger on the internet to solve their dang problem. Like, they showed up. There's something there, right? Something's happening. There's a problem for us to solve there. And if you believe that, then you got to stay in there, have a good discovery. If it makes sense, then bam, position it. And I told him, I was like, he doesn't have a girlfriend. He doesn't have really like, he lives with his parents, right? And I was like, dude, how would you operate on the call? Because I told him, I was like, you got to stay in the close 3 to 5 times. Stop giving up early. Like, you're giving up too early. If you just change that and believe you're a closer, dude, the game will change. I was like, what would you do if your parents are sitting in the backseat of the car and someone's literally going to steal them away from you, dude, and they're going to be gone? And you knew, if you were on that call and I told you, Zavin, like, dude, if you freaking close this call, your parents are going to be safe. Do you think you're going to close it? And he's like, bro, I didn't ever look at it like that. So, dude, I leave the lake house. He gets on the phones. He's like, all right, I'm a closer. Bangs out 2 freaking deals, like a 4K and a 3K. Never sold like a 4K package, dude. And I was like, God, what are the odds of that? So this morning, fast forward, I'm having this conversation with my sales team, and I'm talking about this magic that's happening and how this guy just did this, right? And I'm sitting in the call, dude, I'm preaching and teaching, and something that like never happened before. On the sales meeting, like 20 minutes, dude, like 5 deals just rolled in. Bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, this is crazy. As I'm having this conversation about it, like, you need to wear the identity of the closer. You need to stay in the close, dude. And I was like, I can't make this shit up, bro. Like, I didn't pay these guys to buy these deals. Like, and we've never had that happen, like, on a meeting in that 20 minutes where like 5 deals just roll in. Maybe one here, one there. But I was like, damn, dude, like, we're operating at a different level of frequency, you know? And so hearing you say that is just crazy, because this literally happened today and yesterday and with the sales team today. And it's like everyone was like dumbfounded, like, wow, like, this is crazy, right? And anyway, dude, you got me fired up because I just
Well,
experienced that.
let me add to
Please.
that. On my first team that I was ever on, we had never done 100K in a day, and we did it one Friday. And it wasn't me. Remember, I don't take meetings on Fridays, but sometimes I'd have a follow up roll through, or something like that. Like, I will book a follow up on a Friday if it was a really high quality prospect. But we did 100K on a Friday as a team, and we had this idea. We're like, dude, what if we just did 100K every Friday? And so we shifted our identity to 100K Fridays. Well, damn near every Friday we did 100K, because we raised our frequency and we went to war. Not so much me, but the rest of the team. And when I was, head of the sales, like, I would fire everybody up, like, yo, it's Friday, it's 100K Friday. Like, whatever calls are on your calendar today are going to buy. And we would just instill this belief that that was what was going to happen. And then the results almost always manifested. I had a new client. His name was Zach, and we get on our first coaching call, and I coach him. He's like, "Dude, this is incredible." Da da da. And at the end of the call, I look at him like, "When's your next sales call?" And he's like, "Oh, actually, in a couple hours." And I said, "Great. What's his name?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know." Da, da, da. Pulls it up. He's like, "His name's Joel." I go, "Dude, hell yeah, Joel's a new client." And he's like, "No, no, I have like a sales call with him." I'm like, "No, Joel's a new client." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, Joel's a new client." No, Joel is a new client. He's like, "Yeah, Joel's a new," and I just kept repeating it to him until he was like, "Fuck yeah, Joel's a new client." 2 hours later, I get a Slack message in the Wins channel. "Hey, Austin, guess what? Dot, dot, dot. Joel's a new client." When
Let's
you show up with
go.
that confidence and conviction that you're going to close everyone who's a good fit, you will. Most people go on a dry streak and like, "Oh yeah, I'm just not cut out for this. Oh, I'm not that good at sales. Or oh, the prospects aren't good." We make up these stories and then we manifest the story that we tell ourselves. But if we can shift our identity and shift the story and tell ourselves better stories, the results will catch up and manifest. And then we're like, "Yeah, we are a closer. I do get paid in fulls. I don't hear objections." And you carry that energy on the calls, and then everything will just follow. It's like magic.
That's right. That's why I called it magic, bro. That's literally why I
Yeah.
called it magic. And to your point, like what this kid was telling me, he's like, man, I feel like every deal I'm closing is just a lay down and I'm getting lucky. And I was like, oh, as soon as I heard that, you got to cut that shit out, bro.
Yeah.
You're a closer. And that's when we had that identity talk. But dude, Austin, it's been awesome having you on, man. First, let people know, where can they follow you? Where's the best place for people to go follow you?
Yeah, so I put a ton of sales content on Instagram. It's at the Austin Medlin, and then I also have my YouTube channel as well, which is just Austin Medlin. And sales longer form on YouTube, obviously shorter reels, objection handling, live role plays, live sales calls, things like that. On Instagram is where I'm most active. And dude, sales changed my life. And people tell me like, "Why do you give away so much for free?" Right? Why
Hmm.
do I sit on this podcast for free and just drop as much game as we can cram into this time we have? Because sales changed my life. And if I wasn't in this industry, I don't know what I would be doing, but it wouldn't be the money I'm making and the impact I'm having with the freedom that I've always wanted. And so if I can inspire people to get into sales, I want to do it. If I can help people who are in sales get better, I want to do it. If I could take a client who's terrible at sales and make them good to change their life, I want to do it. And so I do a lot of that on Instagram, from the mindset stuff, the lifestyle stuff, and then obviously a ton of sales content and game for free. That's where it's at, man. It's just helping people elevate, because sales is the highest paid profession on planet Earth. No one's
That's
ever going
right.
to be mad about acquiring the skill set of the highest paid profession on planet Earth. The world's always going to need it. There's an ungodly amount of money out there for the taking. You just got to be willing to step up, do the work, and take it.
100%, man. I couldn't agree more. 100%. That's powerful stuff, dude. And I got to tell you guys, like, I don't follow a lot of people on social media, but I followed this guy's content because it was that good. And all the stuff he gives you for free is game changing and next level stuff, guys. You can just have a lot of impact and change your life with that alone. But go follow this guy, dude. Anytime you're down here in Southern California around the Temecula, Corona area, just LA, if you're in LA, Orange County, whatever, let me know, man. I'd love to have you back on in person, officially in the studio here, dude. We'll do it again. It's been fun. But guys, also, if you're out there right now, you're like, dude, I want to get involved. Like, can I work with you guys? Like, how do we do it as far as like Closers Network, One Call Closers? Click the link in the description below, and you can schedule an interview to see if maybe potentially selling for our sales agency is going to be a good fit for you. With that being said, Austin, I appreciate your time, dude. Thanks for doing this. And again, I look forward to hopefully having you down in person one day.
Of course, Mike. Thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.